everyone. Welcome back to the Populist Corner. It has been a very long time since I have made a video, and I apologize for that, but life got kind of busy for me. I was trying to focus more on my job and working a lot more hours, and then all of a sudden my hours got slashed where I work now. So now I have a little bit more free time. So this is going to be the first video of 2022. And I have a lot of interesting topics that I would like to cover. And today's topic is going to be the Freedom Trucker Convoy in Canada, because I am so excited about that. And I'm very inspired by it. I'm inspired by the bravery and the unity that I am seeing with a bunch of these truckers and citizens alike. And so we're going to talk about that in this video and just kind of go over some of the moral principles that we can all learn from what we're seeing in Canada right now. And just to let you know, of course, by the beautiful flag in the background, I am in America. So the fact that, this is a world wide protest. For months and months and months, we have all seen the protests in Australia, Germany, Austria, Sweden, UK, Italy, France, definitely a lot going on in France and still going. And, all these different countries around the world. And all the citizens have been protesting against the vaccine mandates, not necessarily being against vaccines. They're not. They're against being forced to take it. You see, there's a huge difference between being against the vaccine itself and then being against being forced to take it. And a lot of us folks are against being forced to take it by peers, people in our society and also our governments. They don't have that right. And so a lot of people in the media, mainstream media, basically have been downplaying the size of this outcry from people in America, from people in all different parts of the world. And, YouTube does a very good job of censoring that. And so you almost have to bite tooth and nail to find these videos. And some of them are on Instagram of all places, and some of them are on Telegram, and some of them are still on YouTube. But, at the same time, it's hard to decipher what's even true nowadays in today's society with all the propaganda that we're seeing and all the power grabs from both the Republicans and the Democratic side. And I say that with impartiality, because I do hold some conservative views, but I also believe that both sides are playing everyone, to be honest. From my conclusion of why I feel that way is basically there's no action being done. There's no physical action, legislative action being taken from the people who say that they are for our freedoms and that, we should continue to protest and all that stuff. But what are you guys doing? What is Congress and Senate doing to make changes if they really are hearing us? And I believe that's why the movement in Canada is so monumental and historical, and that I think it's very sad that the media is trying to downplay the size. Yes, we don't know the true size of that convoy. We don't know if it's 50,000 or 100,000 people. We don't know the true number. And, it may not be 50,000. It may be 100,000. It may be less than 100,000. It may be less than 50,000 people. But that's not what matters. See, the media is trying to get you to focus on what they want you to think matters about this convoy protest. The size of it doesn't matter. What matters is what is going on and what they're representing. That is what matters about this convoy in Canada going on with the truckers. And the reason why it matters is because you're seeing vaccinated and unvaccinated people unify over a common grievance, and that is the loss of freedoms, the loss of civil liberties and human liberties. And they are realizing that this is not about who's vaccinated and who's not vaccinated. This is about freedom for both people. And the governments at power don't want you to focus on that aspect, because if you do focus on that, it destroys their whole narrative of what they've been trying to push on us about vaccinated versus unvaccinated. This past 2 years, we've been told by American government and foreign governments alike that unvaccinated people are a danger to us getting out of this pandemic and this and that. And that is absolutely not true. It's not true. I will say that, a vaccinated person does spread it a little bit less than an unvaccinated person. But at the end of the day, you're still able to spread it. You're still able to catch it. And you're still able to be hospitalized from COVID, even as a vaccinated person. And you're still able to be a vector for it, meaning that you could be infected and not have symptoms and spread it to somebody else without knowing, even vaccinated. And the government doesn't want y'all to be unified. They don't want us to be unified. And they want us to be divided, so we don't pay attention to what they're doing behind closed doors, using COVID as a Trojan horse to encroach on our freedoms. And at the end of the day, it should not matter if I'm vaccinated or if your neighbor down the street is vaccinated. You know what should matter? Are they being treated equally? Are they being treated fairly? Are they being allowed the same opportunities in life that you are? And if they're not, that's discrimination. I don't care if people want to tell me, oh, well, it's not the same as racial discrimination. No, it's not the same as racial discrimination. This is not based on race because these vaccine mandates apply to everybody. What it is medical segregation and medical discrimination. You're discriminating and you're taking rights and privileges from one set of group of people and you're giving them to another while denying them at the same time. And that is do y'all not agree that that is discrimination? When you take rights and liberties and you deny them from one group of people and give them to another group that you favor, that's discrimination. And also there's another word for that that's used in the workplace. It's called favoritism. So at the end of the day, that's what they want us to accept, that this is a normal way of thinking, that it's okay to deny a mother to be able to provide for her family because she's unvaccinated, or to deny a father from being able to provide for his family because he's unvaccinated. That's okay because it's for the better good, it's for the common good. How many times have you heard oppressive regimes use those statements? It's for the common good, it's for the well-being of everybody. It's blinding to empathy and sympathy and common sense, really. Because if that was the case, we'd be doing this for every flu season. And I'm not saying that COVID is the same as the flu. It's obviously not. It's killed a lot more people. But at the end of the day, they skewed a lot of the numbers, and they're now just starting to come out with these numbers. And at the same time, Canadians are destroying that narrative. And that's why the media doesn't cover it. So I just want to say thank you to any Canadian that's out there. I want to thank you to all the Canadian supporters and all the truckers in Canada that are fighting for your freedoms, for each other. And it's really inspiring from America to see such a beautiful movement and to see such a beautiful protest. I do hope that you guys can do it safely and peacefully. And I hope that, God protects y'all from Antifa and all these other people who want to try to come in and make your protest look like it's a dangerous protest when it's not. Truckers are probably the most hardest working people that I know outside of nurses and doctors. Nurses and firefighters and police officers. They get paid the least amount to do the most work, to a degree. But truckers are really the backbone. If you start hating on your truckers for standing up for freedom, you might as well kiss your vaccines goodbye. Because at the end of the day, your vaccines are coming on a truck. They may come off of a boat at first, but who delivers the vaccines to your local pharmacy? A truck. So if you are so pro-vaccine, you would be pro-truckers being able to do their job without any infringement. And that includes the unvaccinated truckers. Do you see where I'm going with this? So just to throw that out there, your vaccine's coming from a truck too. So, time to wake up, time to wise up, and to realize that this whole division between vaccinated and unvaccinated needs to stop. And the Canadians, they have woken up to that. They've woken up and said, you know what, enough is enough. And I'm very grateful for that. And I've been following it. It's been very, I showed my family these videos and they love it. And we think that it's a great thing. And I hope America starts a same trend. I hope America has a trucker convoy again against medical tyranny and medical fascism, because I think that's what we're dealing with right now. We're not just dealing with just a tyrannical government in a sense, but we're dealing with medical fascism. And that happened during World War II and a lot of other parts of American history. We had the eugenics program of sterilization of women, especially, and of people and minorities who the government didn't think were fit for society. And we're literally allowing the same thing to happen by segregating people, saying that saying that unvaccinated people are lesser than, or not as intelligent, or they're a fringe minority, or this or that. You are indirectly, I would say, you are indirectly supporting eugenics in that way. So that's also another thing why you need to really step back and look at yourself and be like, okay, where's the risk? If you're a vaccinated person, I ask you to really step back and really try to step out of the politics for right now and just sit there and think, if I am a vaccinated person, what am I upset about? Why am I upset that an unvaccinated person is around me as a vaccinated person? No, just sit there and ask yourself that. If you want to talk about how unvaccinated people can cause more of a risk to vulnerable, immunocompromised people, vaccinated people can too. And at the end of the day, if that is a concern for you, actually, as a vaccinated person, if you are concerned about the well-being of immunocompromised or vulnerable populations to COVID, if you're concerned about that, why are you advocating for just vaccinations to be the end-all step in protecting them? Why don't you want your taxpayer dollars to be spent on actual developments and treatments for those who are immunocompromised? Why aren't we spending the time on that? Instead, we're spending time on saying, well, you're unvaccinated. Well, you're vaccinated. Well, you're ugly because you're unvaccinated. Well, you're ugly because you are vaccinated. Do you see? We have been brainwashed by mainstream media to think that that is the most important issue. And that's not. That's not progressing to a better future for our families and our children and for those who are immunocompromised. If I was an immunocompromised person and I was sitting there listening to all these healthy people arguing about, oh, you're unvaccinated, oh, well, you're vaccinated and you're evil and this and that, I'd be sitting there and be like, what about me, guys? Like, aren't y'all worried about having a treatment for me at least if I can't get a vaccine? I don't see anybody advocating for that. I don't see anybody protesting or advocating that our government and that our Senate and that our Congress really strive for, sorry, somebody was calling me. I don't see anybody advocating for anybody, our government, our Senate, our Congress, or Dr. Fauci. I don't hear anybody advocating and demanding that they start focusing on developing safe alternative treatments for those who are immunocompromised and things that are outside of vaccination. I don't see anybody advocating for that. We are so fixated on vaccination. It's incredibly scary to me of how zoned in we have all become. And myself included, I get zoned in on, I don't understand why people are trying to force me or anybody else to make a medical decision they made when I don't want to make it or something like that. It's just like, it makes no sense. And it's also defeating science. Science is not a one-size-fits-all. So wouldn't you want your taxpayer dollars to be spent on alternative ways to combat or treat or prevent COVID? I would, because that's real science. Science is not a one-size-fits-all. And now everybody's, in this mindset that it is, and it's not. And it's going to be detrimental. We had the same issue happen during the Qatar incident with polio. People thought a one-size-fits-all, really wasn't. I'll probably make another video on that. That's a little bit more of an in-depth video. But that's just an example of what happens when you laser focus into something and you forget about everything else. There has to be a balance. Nobody's advocating for there to be a balance. So Canada, I just wanted to make this short video, and I wanted to congratulate every single Canadian out there who's fighting for their freedoms and who's fighting for their rights and for the rights of their fellow neighbor, whether they're vaccinated or not. I think it is a great cause that y'all are fighting for and that y'all are protesting peacefully for. And I hope y'all continue. And please don't give up. Do not give up. Don't go home. Please stay until it is done, until they actually make the legislative changes that y'all want. Because if you leave too early, if you leave discouraged, nothing's going to get done. This is something that y'all need to stick out on. America, I hope that y'all do the same thing. Truckers, American truckers, if y'all want to do a convoy, let me know. Let me know. Let's get something started. I'm ready. I don't know how to get it started, but if y'all want to help me, I am 100% open to that idea, because I think that this needs to be done. People need to start demanding better from their government. We employ them. We pay for them to be there. Let's make sure they do what we want them to do, right? Yeah, it seems like a far-fetched idea nowadays, but it is so true. So we can do that. That's what our Constitution is for. And that's the beauty of it. So America, Canada, I love you guys. And all the truckers in America, all the truckers in Canada, all the truckers in every other country that is seeing what Canada is doing, don't be afraid. Go ahead and start your own convoy. Let's get it started. Let's make a real change. Let's really make a real change, and let's pressure Congress and Senate to do their job and to make sure that our rights and freedoms are protected and that no medical segregation is considered. It's wrong, it's unconstitutional, it's unethical. So guys, I love you. Sorry for it not being a long video, but I just wanted to really get into the issues that I'm seeing now with all this stuff, and that, Canada really has destroyed the vaccinated versus unvaccinated narrative, because over 78.8% to 90% of their citizens are vaccinated, and 90% of their truckers are vaccinated, and they're all protesting together side by side saying no more. They really broke the narrative. And I'm so glad they did. Somebody did it finally. I was sitting here wondering, when is somebody going to get together with the unvaccinated and vaccinated and get together and unify? This is something to unify. Something that Biden has not been able to do. Biden has not been able to unify the United States. You know who has, though? Every single citizen who's been out there fighting for freedom and justice and equal opportunity for all. So there you go. It's up to us. We are the ones who are going to unify each other, not some politician who doesn't even care. So Canada, great job. Keep up the work. I love you guys. America, keep up the great work. All you citizens out there, keep going. Don't be afraid. Be fearless. Be unapologetic. And most of all, be patriotic. Love you guys. Have a good day. Or a good night, because it's nighttime here.